I recently came across this line: you don't get what you want or what you deserve. You get exactly what you have the audacity to ask for. And to be honest, I've had this thought for a very long time that most of us have this thing that we have to be good at something before we even try our hand at it. For example, you want to try painting, but you think you're not good enough. You want to apply for a job offer, but you think there are more qualified people or more talented people than you are out there. You want to ask for something, but then you internally think that there's a no waiting for you on the other side. So then what do? You wait, you get back, you tell yourself you'll learn more, you tell yourself you'll practice more, and then you'll show up when you're ready. But I think we're getting it all wrong. I think it does not work that way because audacity comes before ability. Now let that sink in. And let's think about the first time that you actually started a new hobby, a new skill, or anything new that you started in your life. And think about the first time that you tried it. Obviously, your first attempt wasn't your best shot. There was a version of you that clearly didn't know what you were doing at that time, that didn't know how things were to be done, and didn't even know how you were supposed to do it. There was a beginner level phase of yours, and there was a day one to your entire journey. So now, when we are starting off new things, why do we expect ourselves to not look like beginners? To act like as if we've been doing this very thing for years together? And what made us feel like we are supposed to look like pros at it? Because this creates a fear, this fear of looking like a beginner, of starting over, is in itself a very scary act. The fear of looking like a beginner stops us from trying in the first place, which is kind of interesting because here you haven't really experienced real rejection. The only rejection that you're actually dealing with is the one that you are giving yourself. So you're eliminating yourself out of the competition before you've even participated. And that is why audacity matters as much because society is not going to reward your potential, it is going to reward your participation. Because there are hundreds of people who could have done the thing that you think of. There are hundreds of people who are going to be more talented than you are. There are hundreds of people who are going to be more qualified. But none of it matters because at the end of the day, you are going to remember the person who actually showed up and who did the thing anyway. And I think we underestimate how much of success is simply having the audacity to participate, to actually put yourself out there. Because audacity isn't some personality trait that any of us is born with. Audacity is basically like a muscle, it gets stronger with repetition. You start with something small, you show up, and then you survive it. You are out of your comfort zone. You feel like, okay, the world didn't end. Then you go for something bigger, and then bigger. And that's how you develop your audacity. And to be very honest, developing your audacity is way more important than developing any skill. Because in this era, you can learn any skill. But when it comes to audacity, it's about giving yourself permission. It's about giving yourself permission to look like a beginner. So if you really don't do that, what kind of skill are you actually planning on learning? If you want to become someone you've never been before, you have to start doing things that you have never done before. You need to start holding space for you to actually become the person that you dream of. So you all have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. So this is your sign to start trying to become the person who actually tries.